Welcome back. You're watching NewsX. My name is Vineet Malhotra. Well, India is on the verge of a historic first. In the coming days, Skyroot Aerospace's Vikram-1 is set to lift off from the Satish Dhawan Space Centre in Sriharikota, attempting to become India's first ever privately built rocket to reach orbit. The mission has a name, Agman, Sanskrit for the arrival. And after years of testing, building and waiting, the arrival is now just days away. Well, we have all watched in awe as Elon Musk and SpaceX rewrote the rule book for private space travel. Now it's India's turn to step up. Vikram-1 is currently targeting July 18th liftoff within a launch window that runs through August 4th. The final date, depending on weather, technical checks and clearance from India's space regulator. In space, the rocket carries a name that carries history, Vikram Sarabhai, the father of India's space program. A fitting tribute as a new generation attempts to carry his legacy into orbit. This is not just a rocket on a launch pad. This is India entering a new era in space, one where private ambition stands alongside decades of national achievement. The countdown has started. All eyes on Sriharikota, all eyes on Vikram-1. With that said, let's take a look at what is Mission Agman and the people behind it. Then, of course, we get in some expert voices to decode what's happening over here. So, Mission Agman, what's the meaning? Well, in Sanskrit, it means arrival. That's what it means. And this is in, a lot of sense, is the arrival of India's private space program as well. The rocket is called Vikram-1. It's a 7-story tall carbon composite vehicle powered by 3D printing engines. The launch site is Satish Dhawan Space Centre, where this is going to take off from. The target orbit for Vikram-1 is 450 kilometer low Earth orbit. For Falcon 1, it's a little higher. It's a 361 kilometer low Earth orbit. The Electron is at 500 kilometer low Earth orbit, and the Alpha at 300 kilometers low Earth orbit as well. So they're definitely aiming for the sky. Well, the payloads, the Scope satellite has the Skyroot, the Solaris S3 has the Graha space in it, the Embrace robotic arm has the Cosmosurf space, and the technology demonstrator is equipped with the D-Cubed, which is from Germany. These are some of the technical details. The mission objectives: propulsion performance, how it operates, stage separation, an important part I fathom in space travel, guidance, navigation and control, flight computer and how steady it is, and structural performance as well. This is, of course, one of the very important parameter of any space travel. The structural coherence is what is actually going to determine how well this particular mission is going to be. Well, the team for Skyroot: Pavan Kumar Chandra, who is the co-founder and the CEO and CTO; Naga Bharat Dhaka, co-founder and COO; and V. Gyana Gandhi, Senior Vice President of Propulsion, are some of the names behind this important mission. Kishore Tallam, Chief Finance Officer; Ashwin Mahavari, Senior Vice President, is part of Team Skyroot. How is this going to pan out? What does this mean for the Indian space ecosystem is something which is definitely going to decide how India operates as well as goes forward from this point in time. Dr. P.K. Ghosh, space scientist, is with us on the program. Dr. Ravi Kumar Gupta, former director of DRDO, is also joining us on the program. Dr. Srimati Kesan, Space Kids CEO, is joining us on the program as well, and by no means the least, Dr. B.R. Guru Prasad, former ISRO scientist, is with us on the program as well. Thank you everyone for taking out the time and speaking to NewsX. It is indeed a momentous occasion. Dr. P.K. Ghosh, of course, the private company that is involved, Skyroot over here, is definitely going to be anxious. They are going to be having a ton of apprehensions as well, because ISRO has done it. Will they be able to do it, and how well will they be able to do it? What kind of a precedence is this going to set? What are your expectations, specifically considering that the guiding light behind them has always been ISRO, and to a large extent a propulsion from the government as well?
Yes, I can finish that in one word. I want it to be a resounding success, and I know it's going to be one. So, having started with that, I think Skyroot deserves a lot of accolades. They have been working very hard. If you remember, in 2022, the Vikram-1 went up. And at that time, again, it was a slightly smaller craft, as one would say. And but Vikram-1 is what I think we are going to come of age. Now, let me take firstly, I could have gone to the technical details, etc., but that's not important. What is important is that we are going the way that the world is going. If, in fact, in all the countries, there is an increasing dependence on private sector participation in space. And fortunately, the government of India is on the same lines. So we have actually encouraged, ISRO has been hand-holding a lot of these smaller companies, and now they are really no longer small because Skyroot is about valued at $1.1 billion. And we have so many others, Agni-Cool, and so many others. So this is really going to set the trend. Now, actually, after this is going to be Vikram-2, and then is going to be Vikram-3. But this absolutely is going to be a lot of firsts also. As I noticed, they have actually printed a lot of the engines that are going to be used out of the 3 liquid and then 1 solid propulsion. A lot of the printing has been done by 3D printers. Initially, I remember when I think it was Agni-Cool or somebody which made the first semi-cryogenic engine printed. I won't believe it. But then I also came around and said, wow, they have done it to a very large extent. So basically what I'm trying to say is this is the way ahead. And we have a lot to catch up on, because if we want to catch up with the SpaceX, they are far, far ahead. They are doing about 67 launches per year. So we have to catch up, but this is the path. And I'm sure with the hand-holding of ISRO, with the government backing, I can give you the names who all, even in the private sector, that is GIC, Temasek, they are also supporting it, BlackRock. But this is the way ahead, and I think we are on the right path, and I'm sure that Vikram-1 and its subsequent Vikram-2 and even Vikram-3 are going to be big success and trendsetters.
Absolutely right, sir. And Dr. Ravi Kumar Gupta, this trend setting that is likely or in all probability going to be accomplished has taken a lot of time. Our space mission under various stalwarts, including Vikram Sarabhai, started decades ago, and it is culminating into something which is going to grab world attention once again.
Definitely. The India's space program began when Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, as you rightly pointed out, he returned from abroad, and he wanted to start space program in a very big way. But at that time, the government support was not forthcoming, and he made a beginning because he was an industrialist also. He was a scientist and he was an industrialist. So he used his own companies and he set up several institutions which are even today premier institutions in the country related to space. And later on, 1969, ISRO was set up. So, I mean, these two were very landmark events in the history of space journey of India. And I would say that tomorrow's launch is going to be yet another major milestone, because it marked the arrival of Indian private sector once again, I would say, because when Dr. Vikram Sarabhai made a beginning, it was a private fund which was running the show. So now once again, it is a private company, a company which has done, if you talk of economically, commercially, it has done fantastically well. It with just about, I think, a fund of around $160 million, it has already, its evaluation today stands at staggering more than $1 billion. It's a unicorn. So I wish and I hope it becomes the kind of a SpaceX of India, and next SpaceX equivalent to SpaceX in India, because see the space frontiers are unlimited. The work which is required to be done is of a very high magnitude. ISRO made a very good beginning. It came up very well. It laid the foundation of whatever space ecosystem we have today in the country, no doubt about it. But ISRO alone has many limitations, being a government organization. Already the last 2-3 days, the media has been discussing another issue related to ISRO and the private sector companies. Some people join leaving. For that matter, even the founder, the CEO of this company, Skyroot, Mr. Pawan Kumar, he is also from ISRO. He is an ex-ISRO person. And another major development has taken place. Dr. Somnath, a former chairman of ISRO, has joined hands with Skyroot as an advisor. So that also marks a beginning of arrival. See, what I always say, that people talk about the brain drain in the country. There is no brain drain. Brain remains here in this case. The people come from ISRO and join private sector industry. But the biggest brain drain was happening because the scientists in organizations like ISRO and DRDO and CSIR and BARC, they are vested out. 60 and then you are nobody. So that has been a very, very major, you can say, a wastage of our talent. And now with the arrival of private sector industries, now this talent will remain here within the country and will be gainfully utilized. So definitely, as you said, it is a very major milestone, and I think it is just a beginning. As the company itself said, the first one was Agam, and this is the Agaman, and I think it is a long, long way to go. It's a good beginning. All the best to our Skyroot people and ISRO, because ISRO has also quite a big hand in this venture.
You're quite right, sir. Dr. Srimati Kesan, of course, ISRO is, of course, the backbone behind all of this, and we have discussed on a number of occasions how the private sector has to be enabled, how they have to be encouraged. What is this likely to do, for the Indian space ecosystem, private space ecosystem, in light of what has been also done by SpaceX in the United States and for the rest of the world?
It's a beautiful collaboration, I feel. ISRO is like a mother, and the startups are all like children. A mother is a mother even if she is 60 or 70. The experience and the exposure, right from carrying the rocket on a bicycle, to today trawlers and Mangalyaan and Chandrayaan. How can we forget? And the way we are forging ahead with Gaganyaan. People are going gaga over ISRO, I can tell you, because we are working, with 108 countries now for our mission Shakti Sat. And every time we tell them about ISRO, they are amazed. Smaller countries, they really want to come and work with India. Now, the way startups are panning out is because, as rightly mentioned by Dr. Ghosh and Mr. Ravi Kumar, is that the decision making is very quick and fast in a startup. Whereas in a government setup, it takes a long while. So we need to take into considerations, if we need to alter a technology, even if it is the smallest of it, the approval lines are huge. So that is why there is, that time taking. And people who are that high energy, See, nobody can buy an ISRO scientist. I mean, for whatever it is, they live for the country. That much we know for what we have been working with them. It is just that if they had that leeway to take decisions, and if they are encouraged to use these applications as quick as possible. Now, 3D printing and all, it is just the latest technology, and Skyroot was able to print, Agnikul is able to print and get everything quickly done. But our ISRO has been doing it for a longer time, and it took time is the pressure there. There is nothing apart from that. So that exposure and experience is going to be taken by the startups, and everywhere you need that hand holding. You may be the best of the startups, but without that, experiential hand, I'm sure we will get stuck somewhere. And India is really forging into a great player in space because of the time that we are looking at. 350 kilograms, yes, we have a rocket, private rocket. 500, oh yes, we have SSLV, yes. Oh, you want to go beyond that? We have PSLV. Beyond that, GSLV, LPM3. I mean, we are catering to a complete package. And more so, now we are asking the international players, if you have an idea, come to India. We have the entire ecosystem. One is rich with the satellite bus. One is good with, building the communication and RFs and everything. So you just come with an idea. We are here until your launch and the datas are provided. So I think this is a beautiful time for space in India.
You're absolutely right, ma'am. And Dr. Guru Prasad, an important point made by ma'am is that the bureaucracy as well as the red tapeism and the formalities that perhaps take longer than usual for clearances is also something that need not be there, because if we are going to move forward in the space ecosystem, there needs to be a pace of evolution as well.
Good evening to all the panelists. Good evening to you. Namaskar. See, private sector has been brought in a big way by the government, not because of any inefficiency on the part of ISRO or anything. Actually, whatever our potential, it would not be fulfilled, realized with ISRO only. Okay, you have the potential, but at the same time, ISRO has to concentrate on certain things. Okay. For example, high technology development and such things, or Gaganyaan, or even Shukriyan, that kind of thing. Routine matters, let it transfer to private industry. That was one part. The other thing is, when the private industry was brought in with this view, after all, what is our share in the global space economy? It is about 2% or something at that time, 2020. So, to enhance it to at least 8% or something, okay, significantly to enhance it, okay, the government brought in the private sector. It is not inefficiency, red tapeism or anything on the part of ISRO. I can't think of any other government organization because I have not worked. But let me tell you publicly, it was my privilege to work for ISRO for 37 years, okay. 20 years I worked as a satellite scientist. Another 20 years I was in PR. I have seen the working of ISRO. I'm very proud of it. And as pointed out by other panelists, yes, ISRO is hand-holding, no doubt about it. When the word hand-holding comes, in space is there, specifically for that. But still, when it comes to opening up the facilities for testing of the satellites, testing of the rockets, or even providing launch infrastructure, tracking and such things, you have to appreciate ISRO, no doubt about it. At the same time, let me tell you, these startups, they are very laudable. Yes, kudos to them. Because, they have taken the risk. Venture capital is not easy to get, okay? But at the same time, Skyroot has $1 billion means it is not easy. So, I would say the Indian space ecosystem, if it works as an organism, okay, with different subsystems. For example, you take the case of a robotic spacecraft like Chandrayaan. or a satellite like GSAT-7 or something, or remote sensing satellites, or AstroSat, let us say. It is a system which works seamlessly as a confluence, synergistic confluence of so many subsystems. Like that, Indian space ecosystem also has to work. Of course, ISRO is the dominant system here, and we have to appreciate ISRO that it has opened up as per the mandate of the government. It has opened up and held hands. Let me tell you one more thing. Vikram-1 is named after Dr. Vikram Sarabhai. And second thing is, tomorrow, all of us as Indians, as patriots, we have to wish well for the success of Vikram-1. But let me tell you one more thing at this time. 46 years back to almost this day, that is July 18, 1980 was the first successful launch of SLV-3, which put India in the orbit. That is, on that day at 8:05 a.m., SLV-3 for the second time it was launched, and Dr. APJ Kalam was the project director and Professor Satish Dhawan was the chairman, and the rocket succeeded in putting a Rohini RS-1 satellite. Coincidentally, July 18th only is coming up again for yet another milestone, which is nothing but the launch of Vikram-1, okay, named after Vikram Sarabhai. So, at that time, India was not that developed, but despite that, Indian scientists under the government, working in the government sector, they realized the unthinkable. After all, India was the 7th country to launch its own satellite. Okay, some of them have stopped there only. We have launched hundreds of satellites already. So, I would say government's thinking is very clear. It is a well thought out strategy. The government's thinking was not because of inefficiencies somewhere. Let ISRO do things which are high technology things. Let us take burden out of ISRO. That is what government thought, and that is paying. The outcome of the 2020 decision is tomorrow's launch of Vikram-1. And the Indian space ecosystem with startups, whether it is Pixel or Agnikul, Cosmos or Skyroot Aerospace, which has a sprawling facility in Hyderabad. All these things, they go a long way in making India or taking India still higher in the domain of space. I'm an optimist as a seasoned
You're
space
absolutely
observer
right,
for
sir,
the
and I
past
completely agree with
45
you.
years.
And this is the reason why we chose to talk about this massive achievement. We've run out of time, but appreciate everybody who joined in. We take a break. Be right back.